Well, welcome back to Let's Play, oh my god, Higurashi, Matsuribayashi. The second I opened them, I was like, no. It's like I woke up with a sore throat, and I had a bit of a sore throat last night, and it kind of worsened overnight, I guess. So I think if I'm down with a cold, like, I thought, yeah, it'd be alright to record for like 2 hours of reading with a sore throat. This is a bad idea, but let's do it anyway. It's been 2 weeks since the last record session. 2 weeks and a day. And in what time? Uploading the previous 3 parts. That part that I mentioned, was it in the previous record session or the one before that? I think it spans both. But that part of this LP that I said didn't have any views on it, still 0 views. Not sure if it's a glitch or not, or if nobody actually watched it. that's gonna be like a kind of running pattern, I feel. Like next record session, like after uploading however many parts I get out of this record session, and then do the next record session, to be like, oh, even after that, still nothing. I can't even remember what happened in that part. I think it was like Takano's reaction to the, being like, okay, we're gonna dismantle all this gradually, your budget will be lowered, and, after all it's said and done, it's just like, what's the word I'm looking for? Basically all the research destroyed and shit, so, like, it never gets recognized. Oh, man. Wait, is this really where I left off? I guess it is. I'm not gonna read his line right away, though. Wait, what? I mean, it's not gonna be in the log, is it? No. What? It's like I uploaded the previous part yesterday, but I didn't actually have the video play that I usually do when I upload it. Like, have it play in the background. I didn't have that. I just kind of skimmed over it. It's just like, yeah, the, hand-used backstory and whatnot. I don't know how convoluted it was. And I guess now Akasaka has finally met up with Ooishi. Hey, San, you haven't changed a bit. What are you saying? I've been on an apple diet lately, and I've lost a few pounds. Can't you tell? Well, just look at you. You look great. Well, I have to stay in shape for my job. Hey, Kura-chan, is this the guy? The one who came here a few years ago from Tokyo? Nice to see you again, too, Honda-san. It's been a while. My, look at you. Must be nice to be so young. So, gotta give him an older voice now. Well, since you came such a long way, let's just head to a restaurant. I'm a regular there, so I'm sure we can get in before it opens. Come on. Ooishi-san, are you sure? Then you still have some work to do. What? Not at all. I'm on special training with a mission investigator from Tokyo headquarters. Come on, let's get going. Oh wait, I've got to make a phone call first. They're greenhorns compared to someone like you. But I put some help together for us. Ah, there you are. Kuma-chan. Do you want to come play with us tonight? Hey, Sam, you really haven't changed a bit. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. Akasaka used to think Ooishi wasn't serious enough about work. But after experiencing many different things in the real world, that preconception had completely disappeared. Ooishi is that way because of his experience. It's not always best to take things seriously. In this world, sometimes being that frank can help. In Akasaka's case, people often tell him to relax more. But in Ooishi's case, maybe he thought should straighten out a little. Come on, Akasaka-san, let's go. Yes, at once. Yeah, good answer. You sound like a veteran police officer now. Glad to hear it. When they're not on screen, it gets a bit confusing, because they've also got Kuma guy with them, so I don't know if he's chipping in on any of the dialogue or not. The old Akasaka would have thought Ooishi was making fun of him, but by now he could take it as an honest assessment. Well, you sure can drink now, Akasaka-san. I don't think I can keep up with you. Must be true that when one gets old, he can't drink as much as before. You're too modest. I'm just better because an intelligence officer has to be able to hold his liquor. I have a budget set aside at all times for training with my young colleagues. Japanese sake, Western liquor, Chinese liquor, whatever. Sometimes I drink at little bars and sometimes at expensive clubs. That sounds pretty good. I'll have to join you to coach them sometime. Yes, please come teach us your tricks. Young guys nowadays often talk about how they can't drink. I couldn't drink at all at first, you know. The more you drink, the better your body adjusts to alcohol and the more you enjoy drinking. And then you become an alcoholic and like, oh god, my career's done and drained because I keep coming to work drunk and they kick me off the force. That's right, are you listening, Kuma-chan? Yeah, I heard. I can down quite a few now. No, really, alright. When you first try to figure out who's talking. Oh, is that Akasaka saying that? No, really, you're right. When you first teamed up with Ooishi, you were already drinking oolong tea with a toast. Oh yeah, it's gotta be Ooishi. That's no good. A toast has a very important meaning. If you don't drink any alcohol, you're saying you're not satisfied with the body. So when I see young people like that, I tell them, I'm not saying that you have to drink up in one gulp, but your first round has to at least be a medium mug. But what if you don't drink alcohol? Like, you must drink alcohol because it's, you know, I just like thinking of a quote from Planet Acura. Like, it's, oh, what was it now? Oh, I've already forgotten the quote now. It's like, it's the law, it's the Constitution, man. Except it wasn't about alcohol that time. I can't remember what it was about, now that I think about it. I just remember the line vaguely. When Akasaka first came to talk to me, he was very nervous, but there was no trace of that tension left in him. Seeing that, Ooishi realized just how much Akasaka had learned in the past few years. There you go, Akasaka-san. Man, you've really grown a lot more dependable. During the years I've been waiting to retire, you've grown so much. Might be time for the younger generation to take over, huh? That's not true. If there's one thing I've learned, it's that the only thing that matters is experience. Leave the hard labor and the crime scenes to us young officers, while you veterans take pride in your desks and work us to the bone. Did you hear that, Kuma-chan? Did you? Okay, I heard him. I'll give it everything I've got. That's... It's just like... No, it's ba-ha-ha-ha-ha if it's Ooishi. If it's just wa-ha-ha-ha-ha, that's one way of telling that it's actually Akasaka then. Ooishi Kumagai-kun has already given it everything he's got. He's diligent about his patrols to make up for your distaste for them. You know, Ooishi-san is right. I've only worked with him for a few days, but I understand what you're going through. Even so, he'll make you into a good cop. Just believe in him. Yes, sir. I'll do my best. But even if I learn how to drink, I can't learn how to be good at maturing. San takes all of my pay before I can give it to my wife. Is that Akasaka then? Zhong's the intellectual baggage you need. Intellectual baggage you need, yeah. The more you play, the more confident you get. Let's play together later. I'll teach you how not to lose. We're gonna have more bloody mahjong. She's a good guy, huh? He kinda reminds me of how you were when you were young. Who the hell is talking? I just can't tell. It's like... Is there more than just Ooishi, Akasaka, and Kumagai? I don't know. That can't be, I wasn't either. That can't be, I wasn't either, assassin. You gotta have the laugh in there. That's one way of telling what character's talking. It's unusual for Ooishi to enjoy anyone's company this much. Akasaka and Ooishi only worked together for a few days. They'd exchanged some holiday cards since, but that was about it. Ooishi had no idea how happy it would make him to see such a greenhorn grow into a dependable cop. Ooishi always thought he wanted to be active until the day he retired. After seeing such a dependable colleague, he began to think that maybe it was time for him to step down. Ooishi and Akasaka enjoyed their reunion more than they thought they would. When's it gonna get down to business, though? Oh, the music stopped. Business time. The owner of the place was bringing the electric sign inside for some reason. I don't know how, but I was like, it's like, the owner of the place was bringing the insects. It's like, the insects? Sure, there's an insect making sound in the background, but how the hell do you mistake electric for insect? All the chairs were up on the tables, and the owner's wife was cleaning the floor. There was nobody else around. Judging by the clock, it was almost 3 a.m. Wait, are they still in the restaurant? Like, sometimes it's like, oh, we could get there before it opens up. How many hours were they in there? Unless they've gone somewhere else. I don't know who's talking. It's like part of me thinks, Ooishi, but, he calls him Kuma-chan, not Kura. So maybe it's Akasaka, I don't know. It's raining, right? Kura-chan, take your time, okay? Just wake me up when you leave so I can lock the door. Sorry about this, thank you. Who the fuck's talking? There wouldn't be anything else open at such a late hour. Ooishi and his colleagues still wanted to talk, so they decided to stay. His colleagues? So did some of his other colleagues tag along as well? Kumagai couldn't fight his sleepiness and was nodding off. They were talking about Akasaka's job. Akasaka works at a department specializing in public safety. Missionaries were interested in all his stories of danger and bravery. It's like, oh man, we're stuck in the frickin', middle of nowhere here. You get to do all the cool stuff. Okay, that's definitely Akasaka then. Anyway, I want to meet with Rika Furude. Hi, Rika Furude, you've been the orphan daughter of the Furude family. Orphans? What happened to her parents? Rika Furude had predicted that there would be an incident in Hinamizawa every year for the following 5 years. Well, he's already gained confirmation that that prediction was right. Her parents, according to her, were supposed to be killed on the 3rd year running. Yeah, it was the 3rd year of the cursed voyage this summer. 1981 must have been. 1981, well yeah, that would make sense, wouldn't it? Because it takes place in 1983 and that's the 5th year. So, really, chronologically, it all started in the late 70s. Friday couple died rather suspiciously. It was 3 years after you came to Hinamizawa, Akasaka-san. 3 years? Did it happen in June 3 years after I visited? Yeah, that's about right. Why? Is there something about it that bothers you? Wait, 3 years is in, the curse started the next... Well, yeah, it would have, wouldn't it? Or around that point, because that was during the dam protest. That was the whole reason he was there, because they kidnapped the construction minister's son. So that was the whole reason for Akasaka coming to Hinamizawa in the first place. And then the dam foreman was the first victim. And then the next year it was the Hojo couple. 3rd year was Rika's parents. 4th year was Satoko and Satoshi's aunts, which also led to Satoshi disappearing. But now, if you've been paying attention to this arc, you'll know what actually happened to him. But, well, actually, even then, it's still a bit vague. We still haven't really got much confirmation on exactly what is Satoshi's current, condition. Is he alive? Is he dead? I mean, I know the answer, but I'm not saying, because that'd be a spoiler. Akasaka shut his eyes tightly to chase away the alcohol in his brain and tried to remember the girl's prediction. He had, after all, come here to confirm it. I came here in 1978, and what about the dam construction site manager? Oh, that's the guy I played in Jog with. How has he been doing? Ooh. It's gonna be a personal one for Ooishi to explain that. Who's speaking now? That can't be Ooishi. It was a newspaper, I think. Maybe it was just in the local ones while he was killed in a fight with the other workers that year. Rika had predicted that he'd be killed in a gruesome way, that his body would be dismembered. Or maybe it's Ooishi kind of saying kind of how he was reported, I don't know. But you'd think he'd be a bit more personal about that. He was like a father figure to him. Was he mutilated? So you know about it already. That's exactly it. His right arm is still missing too. So unfortunate. So if that's the case, does that imply that Ooishi knows that it was the other workers that killed him? But he's like trying to track down the one that instigated it. The main one, which it wasn't really quite like that, but he was definitely the one who was like the most affected, where he's just like, no. So hold on, none of you guys freaking tell on us. We're going to chop him into pieces and you have to bury a part individually. And that's how it happened, and that's why one of the arms was missing. But we know what happened to the guy who had the arm piece that, was never found. It was technically found, but, well, if you were paying attention when we're going through the fragments in this arc, yeah, just go back and check that. Because, how would you have watched up to this part? Well, maybe you just stumble upon this part randomly. That's why I'm not spoiling it too much. But anyways, you'd think, or maybe it's just like, that's not true, that's not the whole story, there's more to it than that. Or maybe he thinks, the Sonozaki family, paid them off or something, just killed the construction manager so that, the project would go away. But that wouldn't really make sense. I don't know. So Ooishi's kind of way of homing in on the Sonozaki family, he's what's the word? Tunnel vision, kind of. He's so focused on that he doesn't really see what's really the true cause behind everything. The following year, on the same day in June 1980, Sudoku's parents will be pushed to their deaths. Maybe it should be called an accident. A lamentable accident. I'll continue. The following year, the year after the manager's death, I think, let's see. I know. Soka-chan, it was. I think she's a little girl. Wait, no. Okay, it's Akasaka. I'll continue. The following year, the year after the manager's death, I think. Let's see. I know. Sudoku-san, it was. I think she's a little girl. Did her parents die in an accident? Oh, how much do you already know? That's right. The damn supporters, the Hojo couple, fell off a cliff when on vacation. That still hasn't been confirmed if it was an accident or an incident. The following year, on the same day in June 1981, my parents will be killed. And the following year... Yes, Rika Furude's parents died, but none of those incidents make sense. Sure know a lot about the Curse Point Fear Summer. None of those incidents were made public because of pressure from the locals, so I'm surprised at how much you know about them. Okay, maybe it's some of his other colleagues are still awake then. Oh, maybe it's Kumagai. They did say he's struggling to stay awake, not that he's fallen asleep, so he's probably still awake. Can't believe this. But even you can't know about the following year, because starting with the fourth year in a row, we decided to investigate secretly. I think I know about it anyway. And the following year on the same day, in June 1982, Stoker's main aunt will die, her head will be smashed in. The following year, so that was last year, Stoker-san from earlier, wasn't her aunt beaten to death? Shit, you're right. Stoker-san, how do you know so much? I think I know who will be killed the year after that. What are you saying? Besides, the year after last year means it's this year. I'll be killed. Will be in June of 1983. In other words, this month, Rika Furude will be killed. Ooishi and the others were at a loss for words. Akasaka talked about the 4 mysterious incidents. Though he had been far away, he belonged to a very special unit of public safety.
It could have been possible for him to find out about their secret investigations. That was why it wasn't that odd for Akasaka to mention a series of mysterious deaths, even though he had been far away from Hinamizawa. However, not only did he know about them, but he also named the next victim. Ooishi and his co-workers had sobered up entirely.
Akasaka-san, it's getting late. We're all exhausted, so let me get to the bottom of this. What is it that you're trying to say?
Okay, well, this is what she told me when I was in Hinamizawa in June of 1978.
What?
Ooishi couldn't believe what he was hearing. He was left speechless. I know it's hard to believe. When she told me back then, I thought she was just being a mischievous little girl. But she told me she was going to be killed in the 5th year running. In other words, she asked me to help her, I think. The main purpose of my visit to Hinamizawa this time is to find her and ask her if she still needs my help.
Akasaka-san, I'm retiring this year. I want to take revenge on the people who killed the manager on the 1st year. I'll jump on any lead I can find. So let me just confirm this with you. What you just said isn't a joke, is it? If it is, you had better tell me right now.
I'm telling you the truth. Rika told me this in June 1978. At the time, I didn't think anything of it, so I didn't tell you about it. Very sorry.
No, you didn't know. Even if you had told me, I don't think I would have believed you. Not because it happened 4 years in a row that we believe you now.
Ooishi must have been thinking that. Wait. Was that Ooishi's line? Because I find it confusing how it cuts away from Ooishi when it goes to that. It shouldn't do that if it is Ooishi's line. Ooishi must have been thinking that if only Akasaka had told him that back then, he could have saved his friend. Well... yeah, what do you think about it? That's a fair point. But would he have believed him? Because back then, that was before, the death started happening. So he probably wouldn't really have, paid him much attention. He'd be like, are you, taking a piss, Akasaka? But, after the 1st year and the 2nd year and all that, he'd be like, any lead, he would be on that shit. But what the old man from Forensics just said was right too. Okay, so it was a different person talking then. Should have given him an older voice as well, because apparently he's an old man. Ooishi wouldn't have believed him back then. And his friend would have died anyway, and Ooishi would have been left with regret at not being able to do anything. Much like Akasaka in the many worlds where he didn't listen to Rika's warning to, get in contact with his wife. But he did in this one, so all was well. That's true, I should be the one apologizing. Still, Rika Furude. Why Rika Furude? Who's speaking? I don't know exactly what's going on in Hinamizawa right now. I read in the papers that the dam construction plan was halted indefinitely. That's why I assumed Hinamizawa was peaceful now.
The dam conflict is over, yeah. But starting the following year, these mysterious deaths known locally as the Curse of Ooishi summer started to occur annually. It played out just like you said.
I think she's entrusted me with something extremely important. Ooishi-san, let me ask you. Do you think it's possible for Rika Furude to be killed this year?
They say that the Furude couple was held in low regard for being so passive during the dam conflicts. That might be the reason why the curse fell upon them in the 3rd year. So I do think that Rika Furude's death
is possible, isn't it? Ooishi nodded slowly. I'm gonna try to get in touch with Rika Furude tomorrow. I think the best thing to do is talk to her directly.
Could I come with you, Akasaka-san? Story about Rika Furude sounds like something very important for me too.
It's like, Ooichi's a piece of the, puzzle for the miracle too, you got the part, he's a fragment as well. That needs to be put in. Everyone's got a part to play. My, you've come bearing quite the incredible gift. I'm getting a bit intrigued myself. I never thought I'd see the day when all the mysteries were solved. Well, who's speaking now? Well, I have some questions too. For instance, why did she tell me something that important? If she wanted help, why didn't she ask the local police? Why me, a guy on a business trip from Tokyo? Well, as Rika, reflecting on all the previous worlds, it's because Akasaka is from outside of the area. He's the outsider that can, play an important role. Ooishi, she's relied on him very few times. He proves to be, dependable to an extent, but it's just like, if you saw the previous arc, you know how that ultimately played out. You need all the pieces.
I bet she doesn't have faith in the local police. I'm a little unrefined. Rika-san probably doesn't trust me. Besides that, people with connections to the Sonozaki family have to Okinawa PD.
In other words, she trusted me, the guy who came from Tokyo, more than anybody.
Yeah, I guess.
That's the case. Ooishi-san, please don't tell anybody else about this.
Of course I won't. Anyway, let's head directly to Hinamizawa tomorrow and have a talk with Rika-san. We can start from there.